Welcome to Rock the Roundtable. I am your host, Orlando Soria, and with me, I have Mina Starziak-Hawk, Leanne Ford, Alison Victoria, and Jasmine Roth. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Guess what we're talking about today? Beginnings. HGTV fans love their backstories, but some of them might not know yours fully. So I'd like to dive into that a little bit.
Actually, design started in my childhood. So it all started with Laura Ashley, which you and I talked about. My mom dressed me in Laura Ashley all the time. And I hated it. I wanted to do something else with it. Like I made window treatments.
How old do you think you were when you designed your first space?
11. It was my best friend's room. So we pulled all the carpet up, got to the hardwood, sanded them down, painted them. Yeah.
Are you
There's
kidding?
some
By
child
hand.
labor
Yeah.
issues here.
It looked terrible.
Wait, so you were literally a child when it clicked for you in your brain that you
Yeah.
wanted to do construction, interior design, etc.
Construction wasn't so much what I thought I was gonna do, it was design. And so I went to school for interior architecture. And then right out of college, I ended up getting to meet this home builder. It was the biggest home builder in Las Vegas. But these were like 1.5 to 2 million and up. And it was booming. Vegas was like on fire.
Right.
And so we were building like 30 homes a month. They hired me right out of college. And then I moved to Park City, Utah. So they started doing single family homes. And then I was sick of giving people the keys back at the end, because we would build from the ground up, and then I'd have to give the keys back. And it's like, okay, next client, next client. And I was almost sick of doing the hardscape. So I started Alison Victoria Interiors. And I ended up getting like the keys back from 3 of the clients. So I got to do everything, all the space planning, all the furniture, all the lighting, all the fabrics, everything.
Right.
I think I need each of your stories from the very beginning. How about you, Leanne? How did you make your way into the design business?
I was in fashion for 15 years. I was a creative director and a stylist before that, and I loved it, but I bought my own house in 2010 and gutted it, totally fixed it up, ripped walls, ripped ceiling, and a magazine, Country Living, shot it. When somebody called and said, will you design my house? I was like, 1 minute. And I call my interior design friend, I'm like, what do I do? How do I do it? And he gave me a 2-hour phone call, and he's like, okay, thanks. I was like, I'll do it. I'll do your house. So it's just about, I always say yes until you get to say no. I was just a creative soul that always had an art form in some way. When I was a little girl, I came home from a party one time, like a birthday party, and I was like, Mom, we have to paint the refrigerator white. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, avocado is not in anymore. That was my first thing I painted white, which I'm still doing today.
And you've done beautifully.
Yeah, I've lots of
seen it.
paint. Thank you. I say I decorate like a creative director, and I see the image, when you walk in a room, what do you see first?
Yeah.
You see the bathtub and not the toilet, How do you design a home to make a beautiful feeling when you walk in?
How do you see your fashion experience as it relates to how you compose things as an interior designer?
I mean, it's literally the same side of my brain. It's all about designing and creating fearlessly.
You seem to have a really adventurous design spirit. Do you
Yeah.
ever run into clients on HGTV that you kind of have to push a little bit to get to do what you want them to do?
I don't really want to push them because they have to live there,
Yeah.
right? So I actually am careful who I take on as a client. So you kind of want to be simpatico already. Otherwise, they're not going to be happy and you're not going to do a good job. I literally,
That's
there'll
good.
be times when people call me and they want to hire me and they tell me what they want to do, and I said I'm just the wrong girl for the job. But I know somebody who's an amazing designer who this is their style naturally.
You're not gonna set yourself
Yeah.
up to fail.
Right, because
Yeah.
that would be setting
Yeah.
yourself up to fail.
What's your favorite part of the design process, and what's your least favorite part of your job as an interior designer?
Making the design in the beginning, the ideas and coming up with all that inspiration, and when the sky's the limit, that's always the best part. And then you have to actually make it happen, right? And that's the hard part. I think the thing that has differentiated me is that final tying up the loose ends.
Wait, because you're a GC too,
I'm not.
aren't you?
No,
Oh, you're not.
I
No, no.
work with all different
got it.
GCs, but yeah.
Are you?
No.
Are you?
No,
Wait, is this
I
where
just
we
thought
find out
they
that we're
were.
all contractors?
Are you?
Wait, am I a
Are you?
contractor? What's happening?
I
Wait,
just
are you?
thought- I actually, are you? I thought you were too.
I hire the wrong ones.
What about you, Allison? Favorite and least favorite part of the design process?
Well, I love more than I dislike. Nobody loves babysitting subcontractors. That's not the best part of the job. But when I finish and there's that last run of the completion, and I'm there until 2 in the morning with my team, wow, we did this. This is ours, and we worked our butts off. So the gratification outweighs all of the dislikes at that moment.
By the end of your install, you forget the torture that it got, got to there. And then for the show,
I was gonna say the
Is it
same
like
thing.
childbirth? Like where it's like the pain and all that, and then you forget because the endorphins and
No, I'd say the install's worse.
Ay, ay, ay.
All right, let's see this thing.
Whoa! So wouldn't that be pretty to put there?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Finishing a house is worse than childbirth. That's my takeaway.
Yeah.
Jasmine, have you ever had a do it afraid moment? A moment where you had to do something that was a little scary, but that ultimately led to some growth?
For sure. I feel like my whole career has been that. I went to school for business. I was going to be an entrepreneur, so I got my undergraduate degree in entrepreneurship and never even had a thought towards like design or construction or architecture or any of those things, and graduated from school in 2008 in the middle of one of the hardest economic climates there was, right? There was recession, nobody was hiring, there was nothing for somebody with a business degree but not a lot of experience to do, and I was a consultant, so I went and consulted, and somewhere in there, my, at the time, boyfriend, now husband, and I bought a piece of land.
Do you think your corporate background has helped you in your design career?
Immensely. Learning how to read financial reports, how to understand a budget, how to not take no for an answer. Like, there's a lot of things you learn, and then no matter what career you're in, half of what you do is run a business, and half of what you do is what you love, hopefully, if you're lucky. And taking that leap, leaving my job, so like in my mind, I've never gone back to work.
Yeah.
Like every single day, I'm still like, when do I have to go back to work?
Nice.
Because it's just fun, and I love it.
So Mina, how did you get connected with HGTV?
Completely randomly, I had a terribly tragic Facebook page for our business that was called Two Chicks and a Hammer, and a production company gal was looking for someone else and stumbled upon our Facebook page, and my cell phone number and home address were on there. And
Very safe.
yeah. I mean,
And she showed up at your front door.
She called. So she was just like, "You guys ever thought about making a TV show?" And I said, "No, but sure."
Where did your design career begin even before that? Like, have you been designing places your whole life, or like, how did this start?
I graduated in 2007, so it was right before kind of everything sucked. And all my friends were getting like business jobs and accounting, like grown up things that I thought were like, okay, this is the next step. This is what I should be doing. And I had no clue what I wanted to do. I got a general studies degree and did sociology, psychology, and business minors. And I waited tables. So I said, I'm gonna buy a house. Like, that's my grown-up thing, which is a terrible plan when you don't have a real job. But my mom co-signed for me, and we bought a terrible house in a very transitional neighborhood. And we just did a lot of the work ourselves because there wasn't any money left. After we renovated my house, and I bought a $12,000 house in Indy. I know that like hurts your guys' brains.
What year was that?
In 2000, it was 2007, the end of it. And it was like 750 square feet, nothing really wrong with it. And that was the first one we renovated and then actually rented. Yeah, so we did that one and then bought another one that was $14,000 and just kind of, we whittled our way through the recession. No one would lend us money, so it didn't really affect us much. We just kept working and then buying flooring and working and buying lighting, and it was just fun. And I waited tables through filming our pilot. And then they were like, no, but we're gonna need you to be more available. I was like, yeah, but I need money too. So it was this uncomfortable balance for a while, but now we're here.
Ladies, thank you for sharing your backgrounds with me. It was truly very interesting to hear about where you all got started. For more Rock the Roundtable, head on over to hgtv.com.